Xtravision, my former employer. We talked about this. We touched on this a couple of days ago when we were having a discussion.
We did briefly, yeah.
They're selling the Xbox One. They're a retail chain in Ireland for people who don't know what Xtravision is. They only recently came out of administration. Basically, they were closing down. The shop I worked in was supposed to be closing. It's staying open now. But they need to build up as much customer loyalty as possible so they can, not go out of business.
Yeah.
Rather than do that, they decided that when they were selling the Xbox One to people who had pre-ordered the console and had paid the full amount off, they were refusing to sell the console to people, or not even sell it, to give them their property that they had paid for, unless that person paid an extra €60 for a game. Okay? Now, I have an inside source with Xtravision, and I was informed that they were told that under no circumstances were any Xbox Ones to be sold without an extra game sold to the customer, and that any staff member who did that would be subject to disciplinary action. Okay? Now, that's one thing that annoyed me. And also, they tried to basically turn around and say that it was Microsoft's policy. Nope. The person who I saw this on Reddit first, and the person who posted this basically contacted Microsoft and asked them. He said, "What's the crack? Like, why are you forcing people to get it?" And they were like, "What?" So they were like, "No, this isn't our policy. This is the store's policy."
Yeah.
So there was killings over it. Like even the National Consumer Agency of Ireland had to get involved and were investigating Xtravision. They U-turned on it. And they said that they would only give refunds to people who were forced to buy the games if the game was unopened.
Yeah, which is fucking an awful slaving thing to do, because I know for a fact if I had an Xbox One right now under my bed and a couple of games that I was forced to buy with it, and also it's 3 or 4 weeks from Christmas, or 3 weeks at this stage, whatever it is, I would like to try it right now to make sure it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So chances are I would have opened that game by now.
Definitely.
And I think this is a special... Normal circumstances I can understand. Don't bring a game back that's been opened. Normal circumstances. Yes. I totally accept that rule. But in this situation, where they found out that something that a shop was doing is illegal, and that they forced me to buy a product, I should be able to bring that product back in fucking 2 halves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and get your money back, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because they fucked up.
I want to take this moment to say that Xtravision were the worst employers that I've ever worked for. They don't care about their customers. They don't care about their staff. I was injured after I fell down the stairs in the shop in an area that had no lighting whatsoever.
Yeah.
Sprained my ankle, was out of work for nearly a month, was asked how I managed to fall down the stairs in, a pitch black area, and was also kind of given shit about the fact that I wasn't able to work with a sprained ankle. So, fuck Xtravision. I hope they go out of business. And thanks for that nice little gift you gave me.
I was aware of the smaller details. I knew they had a bundle offer that wasn't really a bundle, because it was basically 2 products put together and you're paying the full price of both products. The whole point of a bundle deal is that they're giving you 2 things and you're paying slightly under the price of what those 2 things would have been separately. Right? So that's one thing they messed up on. They also said you also have to get another game with that, otherwise you're not getting it. You want this thing that you've paid for? You have to buy another game with it. Right? That's bullshit as well. But that bit you said a second ago, that's news to me, where there was a memo that basically said don't, under any circumstances, sell this without an extra game, or there'll be, what was the word you used?
Disciplinary action.
That disgusts me. Whatever about memos going around and telling the staff, this is what I want you to do, you have to sell this, don't sell this for that, blah, 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 blah. But mentioning disciplinary action, that disgusts me. You've absolutely no respect for your staff by doing it that way. Threaten them. You don't need to threaten your staff for them to carry out the instructions of a memo.
No, that's not the Xtravision way. When I was working there and we had targets to reach on pre-books, we had to get a certain amount of people to pre-book games, okay? If I said to you, Liam, would you like a Coca-Cola? And you said, no, I don't want Coca-Cola. And I said, no, I think you should have a can of Coke. And you said, no, I don't want a can of Coke. And I just kept at you and at you and at you. Would you happily then turn around and say, yeah, go on, give us a can of Coke? Or would you just say, fuck off and stop asking me, do I want a can of Coke?
I'd probably say get out of my face, yeah.
Yes. Their thing was, if you asked someone, would you like to pre-book this game that's coming out? And they said no, you had to basically convince them to pre-book the game. So, we'd say things, they'd like say, tell them, we won't have stock if you don't pre-book it.
Scare tactics, yeah.
Yeah, things like that, yeah. We were told to do that for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and we were told that we would not be getting enough stock to cover pre-books.
Yeah.
We had 200 pre-books of the game, 200 on Xbox, 200 on PlayStation. We got in 560 copies of the game in a week period. And we were told we wouldn't have enough copies to even pre-book. That's what we were told to tell customers.
Okay.
So we were told if you don't reach certain targets, there will be disciplinary action taken against you. So basically, if you can't convince people to do something, you're gonna get in trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's the kind of pressure that exists in a high pressure sales job, which isn't what you're doing when you're behind the counter in Xtravision. And I'm not putting down the staff of Xtravision by saying that. What I'm saying is that's the kind of pressure I would expect with a job where I wear a suit and I have to make big sales at the end of every week. And I also make the big bucks. And I imagine the staff in Xtravision aren't making the big bucks. I've gone for work in sales, proper sales, and I've turned it down specifically because I found out the details of it, and it's like I don't want. Sure, it's extra money, but it's also extra stress, and I don't want that stress. I don't want to be one of these stressed out salesman types.
No, it'd be horrible.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. They were treating the staff and continue to treat staff in Xtravision as if they're like that, but they're not like that. They don't get paid the big bucks. So if you don't get the big bucks, then you don't have to put up with the big stress. You're just there to sell fucking games and DVDs to customers, not to be fucking haggling with them.
Yeah, no, they're just arseholes to work for.
Oh, you don't want your son to be disappointed for Christmas. You better pre-book this game.
Like, I mean, who gets you to invoke Christmas for like selling stuff?
Dickheads. So, will we move on to Spike Lee? Here's my understanding of it, right? And this is just gleaned from various people on Facebook. Spike Lee is the director of the American remake of Oldboy, correct?
That would be correct.
There's an artist, I think his name is like Juan Luis Garcia or something like that.
The most Spanish name you'll ever hear in your life.
So anyway, what he does is he makes posters for movies. Sometimes he does it because he's paid to do it, sometimes he does it for the crack. In this situation, he sort of started off doing it for the crack, as far as I can tell, and then he submitted them and he said, hey, Hollywood remakers, what do you think of this poster for Oldboy I've done for you? And they were like, oh yeah, that's nice, but no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. And he was like, well, you win some, you lose some. Next of all, the film is out, posters are out, he's looking at the posters and they're like, holy shit, they're strikingly similar to the posters that I designed. Am I correct?
Actually, no, you're not correct.
Oh, bollocks.
From what I can remember from what I read, he's an art designer, so he comes up with posters for movies, and he submitted a portfolio to the company.
Yep.
And they were like, oh, we like your work, would you be able to come up with some posters? We will give you some money. It's not a lot of money for generally people who work in that kind of industry would get a lot of money for their work. And they said, it won't be the money that you would normally get for doing this type of work, but the exposure that you're going to get from this will lead you on, and we'll give you recommendations, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, oh yeah, cool, whatever, I'll come up with some stuff, I'll send it to you. So he said he spent about 2 to 3 months working on these things. Very, very detailed work. And he said that he was very proud of it, and he sent it in to them, and they were like, yeah, okay, cool, these posters are great, we love them, we're going to give you X amount of money.
Yeah.
And he said the money that he was offered was insultingly low.
Yeah.
That like he would get the same amount of money for doing a day's work for like an advertising company that he would for doing that type of work. That he, you know what I mean? So he said that he basically turned around and said no.
Yeah.
That he wasn't going to take the money. They couldn't use his designs. Sorry, that's it.
We're not the own business. Yeah.
Now he also goes on to talk in the article about the fact that they basically harassed them about it and abused them, saying you'll never work in this town, blah blah blah, all this shit, right? And
as if they would have that power anyway.
Yeah, they wouldn't have any power whatsoever, but they're still cunts. But basically, he was saying that it even had an effect on his relationship with his wife, because he was so stressed about it that he took that out on his wife, and obviously that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So he was talking about that, and he put this thing up on an open letter to Spike Lee, essentially saying this is what happened. He put his work up against his original work against the artwork they're actually using.
Yeah.
They changed fonts and they changed angles. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Am I right in saying the next part of the story is he was basically fighting this and he was getting nowhere? So then he tweeted Spike Lee to basically say, here, Spike, I don't know if you know what the situation is, but here's the situation, and I'm hoping by talking to you, you can actually get us talking and, you know, get us around the table and get them to see sense, get them to see what they've done. And Spike Lee was like, who are you? What, you know, what's your fucking problem? Get out of my face.
Yeah.
And people were saying, but Spike, listen to the man's story. Here's what's going on. And Spike was like, leave me alone. It's fucking Thanksgiving. What are you doing sending me tweets about this shit? I don't want to hear about this guy. I've never worked with him. I've never asked him to do anything. I've never paid him to do anything. I've no dealings with this guy. So just being completely fucking unhelpful.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
He seems like a knobhead. I don't know much about him, but he seems like a prick. Anytime I've ever heard anything about Spike Lee, I just think to myself, prick.
Yeah.
Am I right?
His stance on it was that it was nothing to do with him because he wasn't involved in the art direction.
Yeah, but I don't think this guy was asking Spike Lee to take responsibility.
He was saying, this is your movie. Can you help me in this?
Use your stance to help them, you know, help me out.
Yeah, but Spike Lee is the director. He would be in charge of all of that. It's his movie. It's his representation of a piece of art.
It's his baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he just wants to... Well, yeah, I suppose that's... He'd like to fucking think it's his baby.
Yes.
If anything, it's fucking baby Madeleine McCann.
What, dead and lying at the bottom of the ocean? Oh! What annoyed me about it was Spike Lee is basically trying to distance himself away from a movie that is fucking bombing at the box office.
I heard it's terrible, yeah.
And it's not even made 2 million. It was only sent to 500 theaters or something ridiculous like that. The movie's basically getting ripped to shreds, which I'm glad because I'm a huge fan of the original.
Yeah, and you're dead set against them remaking it.
Yeah, it's in my top 5 films of all time. It is my favorite, foreign, international movie.
Yeah.
And it just irritates me that he even remade the movie, but now that he's trying to back off from a controversy about the movie.
Yeah, it's almost as if he's trying to distance himself in case he gets sued or something. But that's not the issue. This guy isn't trying to sue Spike Lee.
He just wants something sorted. He just wants
respect.
I suppose he wants to be, as well as that, I'd imagine he wants to be paid for the fact that they robbed his ideas.
Oh, it's complete plagiarism. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. So
it happens all the time with I often. Do you ever hear of this website DeviantArt?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean, it does everything from right down to 5-year-olds drawing horses, up to proper artists. But a lot of art gets stolen from DeviantArt, and it shows up in different areas on the internet. Generally, it's not showing up somewhere that's commercial, so nobody's really making money out of it. But it still hurts you when somebody steals your art.
Yeah.
Now, me, if somebody stole my art, I'd actually probably take it as a bit of a compliment that they saw it worthy of being stolen. But I can understand somebody who spends a couple of months painting something that's fucking 6 foot long. Do you know what I mean? And then somebody steals that picture and then superimposes a donkey into it or something and makes a meme out of it. I can understand the artist going, holy shit, that's not what I wanted to see become of this fucking artwork I've been working on. But this is completely different. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar industry stealing this artist's work, and this artist's just trying to scrape a living. And they're like, and they have the money to pay another artist to come up with something completely different. But no, they basically took it and said, yeah, we're going to use that. We're going to use that. Dirtboards.
Absolute scumbags. No, I just want to, I linked this on Facebook, and the comments on that were amazing. Did you see any of the responses to Spike Lee's Twitter response? I have it open here because I remembered it when we were talking about it. I was like, this is gold. It's in the context of the fact that he's remaking a very, very, very good film.
Yeah.
And Spike Lee's response is basically, it's nothing to do with me, so, you know. And someone basically turned around and said, yeah, I think it's mad for him to think that you would care about ripping off someone else's art. And I was just like, yes! That comment won the internet. Just like, yeah, absolute burn. And then my mate then put a comment underneath that, and he just said, I'm going to torrent this remake twice now just for that, and I'm not going to watch either one of them. But Spike Lee's a dick. I think it's the genuine gist of this whole video. Yeah. Spike Lee is an absolute arsehole.
That's always been my impression of him.
Yeah.
Just as a general kind of prickishness about him.
Also, he's a reverse racist.
Is he?
Yeah, did you hear the thing about the fact that he had a huge problem with Tarantino using the N-word in...
Oh, yeah.
I feel stupid saying the N-word because it is just a word, but
yeah.
I'm not going to use it. I don't like using the word. It is just a word.
I use it now and again, especially in a discussion like this, I will use it, but I won't use it excessively.
Yeah.
But in a discussion, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, obviously the word we're talking about is nigger. Okay, I know the face. I know. I think maybe you just said that to get me to say it.
I would never fucking say that word, Matthew.
Oh really?
No, I would. I say it all the time, actually.
But like,
in fact, before we started this video, I was shouting out the window at somebody.
Yeah, the Sinn Féin candidate was walking by.
And I count on your vote.
Yeah, no, but just for the context of the video, I will take the bullet and use it.
Yeah.
But no, he was giving out with the fact that in a period piece on the period of American history that was slavery, a slightly racist time in American history.
Yeah.
He was complaining that people would use that word, and it's like, well, no, of course they would use that word. Yeah, of course they would. Use
if anything, they didn't use it enough in that film.
He also complained about the cruelty towards black people, and I was like,
again, not enough cruelty.
Yeah.
And I'd love to say that in a joking way. I'd love to be all blasé. No, I want to see more cruelty towards black people. But I mean it seriously. They didn't show enough cruelty in that film because it was even harder than that.
Yeah, you're talking about a time where people. It was actually literally. I was reading a while ago. There is an account by a slave owner who. His name, I can't remember his name, but his name is known now. Basically, it's a shorthand term for shitting in a black person's mouth, because that's what he would do to punish his slaves. He would shit in their mouths.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, so you're talking about slavery.
Yeah.
People use that word, people did horrible things, but he was saying that it's not right because Quentin Tarantino was a white director. That's why it shouldn't have been used. Because he's white.
Sake.
But it's alright for him to use it because he's black, but because Quentin Tarantino was a white director, he shouldn't have let his actors say the word so much.
Yeah. This is why I do feel strongly about us being allowed to say nigger when we're discussing the word. Because why you kind of, it's like the whole Hermione thing from Harry Potter, fear of the name,
the word,
fear of the word, whatever, yeah. Can't remember the exact quote, so maybe it's falling on deaf ears here, but that's my point. The fact that he can say that word, he'd be quite comfortable saying that word now, but because we feel uncomfortable saying it, we shouldn't feel uncomfortable. We're discussing it in a serious setting. And the same with Tarantino. Why should Tarantino avoid a certain... I was going to say avoid a certain word. As far as Spike Lee is concerned, Tarantino should avoid an entire topic. Everything. Not just the N-word, but everything to do with the whole... With black culture, black history. Yeah. No, don't do it. No, you're a white director. Stick to white things. Fuck that.
Well, then I would pose the opinion that if Quentin Tarantino can't talk about slavery because he's white, Spike Lee cannot remake a Korean movie because he's black.
There you go.
Fuck you, Spike Lee.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. And I'm sure that he would...
Anyway.
Yeah. I'm sure that he would have an opinion about me saying he can't remake a film because he's black, because that would be racist. No. It's not racist, Spike, if you're watching this. I'm sure you are.
Yep.
I'm sure you love this show. Yeah. But you're a dick. So fuck you. Right in the face.
That's the worst place to get fucked.
Gravity was outstanding.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of the most intense movie experiences of my life. And I think they should create a new category and give an award to Sandra Bullock's arse. When that scene comes up, there's just going to be a little adaptation in the corner. Bottom right of the speech, it's going to be you like that.
Fetus!
Yes, cut of the film produced for release exclusively in China includes additional scenes featuring Wang.
There's never enough scenes featuring Wang.